What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another Too Good for Theaters video here. Today we're going to be breaking down the Matthew Judon trade to the Atlanta Falcons, as well as breaking down the second preseason game against the Philadelphia Eagles here for the New England Patriots. I know this video is coming out a little late. I was on vacation, so I do apologize for that. But let's get right into this video here. So the Patriots officially parted ways here with disgruntled linebacker Matthew Judon here, sending him to the Atlanta Falcons for a 2025 third-round draft pick here from the Falcons. And I'm a little surprised that the Patriots were able to receive this compensation back. I was thinking more so a 4th to 5th round draft selection here, especially with the way that this situation unraveled towards the end. So a real nice job by the front office in trading Matthew Judon to a place that he quote-unquote wanted to be. And my personal belief is I think he would have loved to stay here in New England if the Patriots were able to offer him a fair contract extension. The Patriots front office clearly believes that it's in their best future to not offer a aging pass rusher that type of money forward. So with sending him to Atlanta here, to a pass rush needed team, and a team trying to make a play for the playoffs and winning their division, the Patriots might have been able to increase that value due to Matthew Judon being a premier pass rusher in this league for the past couple seasons. So a nice job by the front office kind of capitalizing on that standpoint, but also a little bit of a discredit to them letting this situation get to this point in general. I believe Matthew Judon probably wanted to stay here, and from his standpoint, he is aging, but his productivity these past couple of seasons has been elite. He's been one of the best pass rushers in this league here, and I understand the front office not wanting to pay on past results, but looking towards the future here. But if Matthew Judon sees a lot of contract extensions for core defensive players, and he's sitting there without a contract extension offered, what is he supposed to react like? I mean, understandably, he's frustrated. Probably could have handled it a little better here. But unfortunately, the Patriots were unable to come to an agreement with Matthew Judon here. So, what you expect now from the Patriots franchise, they're clearly rebuilding here. I believe that they're trying to rebuild this image more so of not being a very player-friendly team that kind of Bill Belichick left in his wake. Obviously, not going to discredit Bill Belichick at all, but with everything that he done, he did have to make sacrifices, and that's kind of where he made his sacrifices in terms of being a financial GM here. Really wasn't willing to offer a lot of money to players who were productive here for a second contract, especially one that he drafted himself. So it's kind of up to this front office to kind of rebuild that image here. That's what they do with this trade, trading Matthew Judon to a place that he quote-unquote wanted to be, as well as just handing out a lot of the extensions in this offseason. So it's going to be up to this front office to continue to develop this team, probably through the draft. Not a lot of free agents are going to be looking at this team as a free agent destiny, unless Drake Maye comes in and absolutely shines his rookie season, or else the Patriots are going to have to start winning games this season under Jacoby Brissett if he is the starter. So this season is going to be a big one for the Patriots, not necessarily from what I believe as a win-loss record, but more so just kind of rebuilding this image, especially on the offensive side of the ball here, and just becoming a stable team once more from that standpoint and continuing to develop on defense and still be one of these better defensive teams. If the Patriots are able to do that, as well as give Maye some more coaching experience under this league and stay manageable from a win-loss record standpoint, anywhere from like 4 wins to 7 wins, really could be in reality here. Even more or even less wins here. If they're in that kind of range and Drake Maye shows a lot of development, I would classify that as a quote-unquote good season here in New England. So moving here to the second preseason game, a 1-point loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. That's not the headline whatsoever, though. For me, the headline is the development of the offensive rookies from this 2024 draft class, specifically Drake Maye. And if you're a Patriots fan, you shouldn't be asking much more from Drake Maye here in this game. Obviously, not from a statistical standpoint, it doesn't absolutely jump out the page. But if you were watching the game, he looked pretty serviceable as a quarterback in this game. And he was able to kind of lead this team on some scoring drives. Understandably, I don't want to get too overhyped. It was against the Eagles' second unit here. But he looked the part. He stood in the pocket. He was able to make some very nice throws. Couple to Javon Baker. Unfortunately, not all of them were hauled in. But really Drake Maye looked like he knew what he was doing. He stayed in the pocket. There was some times where he did run a little too soon, I feel. And with that being with the second unit offensive line, that's kind of a common trend here. I'm sure he doesn't have the utmost confidence in this offensive line in general as of right now, just because of how training camp has really been developing, and especially the day before, how the Eagles, I believe, got 10 sacks on the Patriots offense the prior day. So he was a little bit early to scramble here, but he was able to stand in the pocket and make some critical throws, like I said before, a couple to Javon Baker. And Drake Maye really kind of showcased what made him the third overall pick. And I know people were kind of panicking a little bit. How is he quote-unquote ready if he's not getting this much playing time in the preseason? What is this coaching staff kind of doing to develop him? Is he really just not ready, or are they absolutely just going to wrap him in a security blanket because of this offensive line? No, he came out there for a couple of drives and he did his part and led this team on a couple of scoring drives, which is a very beneficial sight to see if you're a New England Patriots fan. And that deep ball there, he did a real nice job of kind of maneuvering in the pocket, kind of slide step to his left, and delivered an absolute dart that should have been caught by Javon Baker. It's not the easiest catch, but hey, guess what? If you're in the NFL and you're a wide receiver, that's a catch you got to make. That was a quote-unquote perfect throw by Drake Maye that really just went absolutely right through the hands of Javon Baker deep down the field. And unfortunately for Javon Baker, he did get a lot of targets this game, but he did not do a great job in hauling in a lot of receptions. He did haul in that one reception on what I believe was kind of a quote-unquote skinning post. I believe on Drake Maye's first drive, or first or second drive there. So real nice job by Javon Baker there, beating man coverage and getting separation. But that was really all that we saw from it last night. I mean, on that deep ball, he did get a little bit of separation, but if you don't make the catch, then that's what's going to happen. And that was kind of the knock against Javon Baker coming out of the draft here. His hands were a little questionable. A lot of people thought they were more so focus drops here, but he has had some up and down days in training camp where he's looked like a number one wide receiver, but then there's also days where he can't really catch a lot of balls. And when you're a wide receiver, you have to learn how to catch. So it's good that he is getting open, and he clearly has a chemistry with Drake Maye, so that is a positive sign. But Javon Baker here really does have to complete these plays and kind of come down with the football, or else all that chemistry and connection really doesn't mean anything. But speaking about a second-round rookie wide receiver, Jalen Polk, not the biggest workload, but he's just showing why he's a winning player. He was a winning player at Washington, where he just made plays that he needed to be. And in that preseason game, I believe he was only targeted one time and came down with the reception. But the moves that he put on the Eagles defensive backs in that situation kind of showcases his playmaking ability. And if you're New England, that's what you want to see from Jalen Polk. I mean, that was really his one big question coming out. If he had the speed or he had the agility to kind of compete with these NFL defensive backs. And right there, I know it's the second unit and stuff like that, but I mean, that's a winning play. He broke 2 tackles there and was able to pick up a first down on a check down route. So a real nice job there by Jalen Polk. And Jalen Polk's just been nothing but steady in training camp so far. So very good sign here from Jalen Polk. I believe that he's going to continue to develop. And I think there's a chance that he might be able to kind of clinch a starting spot here in his rookie season. And that would be a ultimate win here for the Patriots, who really have struggled to draft wide receivers, especially early on in the draft here. But next, moving on to a couple of offensive rookies along the offensive line, that being guard Layden Robinson as well as tackle Caden Wallace. Both did a real nice job in pass protection this past game. Obviously, it's a little more difficult for Caden Wallace playing at that tackle position. And something a little interesting is the Patriots actually moved him along the offensive line. He played the majority of the game at right tackle, but he did take some snaps at left tackle as well. And I believe, according to PFF, he did a real nice job of pass blocking in this game in particular, which is a very good sign. Understandably, he's going up against Eagles' second unit, and I believe at some point even the third unit defensively. But from a rookie, you're going to take every positive that you can get, especially from an offensive tackle. And this team really is struggling at the depth at offensive tackle. So any good sign really from any offensive tackle is a very positive sign here for the Patriots, especially that being your third-round rookie. and Caden Wallace. He did not allow hurry, I believe, in 23 offensive snaps, which was a very encouraging sign. And the Eagles have a pretty good defensive line. Understandably, like I said before, it's the second unit, but you take all the positives that you get. And that really kind of applies to Layden Robinson as well. Did not allow any pressures or hurries here along the interior of the offensive line. Did struggle a little bit in terms of run blocking this game and kind of creating some bigger holes here. But that was kind of his MO out of college and being a very serviceable run blocker. So I'm not that concerned. I think maybe he just had an off day and he's still kind of developing. It's only his second bit of NFL action here in the preseason. So I'm not that concerned with it, but a very good positive sign from a pass protection standpoint for both of your offensive lineman rookies here. So moving to the defensive side of the ball here, I think that the front four, or the defensive line in particular, the starting unit, really took advantage of the Eagles' second unit being in there. And guys like Dietrich Wise, Josh Uche, Devon Godchaux, and Jeremiah Farms all had very solid days. Josh Uche and Dietrich Wise were able to put pressure on the quarterback, where Jeremiah Farms and Devon Godchaux really plugged up the middle and did not allow the Eagles a lot of running lanes on the interior of the defensive line. But a particular standout, Keon White absolutely dominated the Eagles' offensive line from a second unit standpoint. Whether that was stunts, just straight speed rushing. I know he had that one sack against Kenny Pickett where he absolutely just blew by the offensive tackle and was able to get into the backfield to take down Kenny Pickett. And if Josh Uche and kind of Keon White are able to kind of up their pass rushing numbers, that might be able to help the Patriots kind of fill that void that the absence of Matthew Judon has left here. So I'm interested to kind of see how DeMarcus Covington also kind of schemes this team into getting more pressure on the quarterback. I know he's been blitzing a lot in the preseason, which isn't typical for a lot of defenses in the NFL. I'm wondering if he's just trying to kind of find his footing as a defensive play caller, or if he's trying to send a message here to this Patriots unit saying, hey, we're going to make the quarterback have to beat us under amounts of pressure here. And they're going to be facing a lot of good quarterbacks here. So I really hope that one of these pass rushers, a guy like Dietrich Wise, Keon White, or Josh Uche, are able to win one-on-one passing matchups from an offensive line standpoint, because the Patriots are not going to look good defensively if they have to blitz to get pressure on quarterbacks, especially with the quarterbacks they're facing this season. That's going to be a little bit of a struggle. So hopefully the defensive line is going to have to step up here and kind of create pressure without having to send multiple guys here from either your secondary or your linebacking core. That would be huge if the Patriots were able to get pressure from their defensive line alone without sending blitzes. But I did want to talk about three players in particular here, all in the secondary, that being Marco Wilson, Alex Austin, and Isaiah Bolden. And right now, they're all battling for roster spots, and I have them all making my 53-man roster right now because they've all been making plays. I'll start off with Alex Austin. Last season, finishing out the year, played very well and has continued that into training camp this season with OTAs, minicamp, as well as training camp, and has made plays during these preseason games. And I feel like Alex Austin has a real shot to be that the starting outside cornerback here. I think most likely it's going to go to Jonathan Jones, and Marcus Jones will kind of be your slot corner. But with an injury kind of history that Jonathan Jones has, as well as Christian Gonzalez, and even Marcus Jones, the Patriots' secondary depth is going to be huge. And Alex Austin really has put himself in not only to be a starter, but has really just solidified himself. And I would say that he's close to a roster lock at this point from a cornerback depth standpoint. And everything that I just said about Alex Austin could be said about the other two guys. But I'll go to Marco Wilson here. Marco Wilson has probably made the most plays out of any corner so far in the preseason. And he has been running opposite of Christian Gonzalez in the starting lineup here on the outside boundary as that corner number 2. Jonathan Jones has not played in any preseason games here. So I'm a little interested to see if maybe Marco Wilson is that guy right now on the outside and moving Jonathan Jones back into the slot and kind of letting Marcus Jones kind of be that pure special teamer or kind of be that dime corner is going to be interesting. And I'm really, I wouldn't say concerned, but I'm really excited to kind of see how the Patriots are able to use this secondary depth and who's able to kind of step up and solidify themselves
as one of the main corners on this team, opposite to Christian Gonzalez, or maybe even in between Gonzalez and Jonathan Jones. We'll see what happens there. And Isaiah Bolden, I mean, he's just been making plays too, whether that's run support, pass breakups, and Isaiah Bolden even adds more from a special teams standpoint as being a returner. That's what he was known for out of college, along with being a cornerback. He was probably the best return man out of Jackson State when Deion Sanders was the head coach of that team. That's really where he kind of thrived and was probably the best returner that season from a college standpoint or a college football standpoint. So I'm excited to see if the Patriots kind of implement that. I know they were trying to last season before his season was unfortunately cut short with that devastating injury. But I'm hopefully we can continue to see Isaiah Bolden as well as Marco Wilson and Alex Austin develop here. All pretty young players here. And they're all going to be fighting for that kind of that outside corner spot, if not just depth pieces at the corner position on this team. And I think that there's a shot that all three of them could potentially make this team. Isaiah Bolden as a return man, Alex Austin as well as Marco Wilson can probably both play gunners as well and kind of incorporate themselves on special teams, which is only going to increase their value. And you even see guys like Brendan Schooler here who are really just kind of core special teamers, kind of get some defensive playing time here to kind of up their value and give themselves a chance more likely to make this roster here. So really interested to see how DeMarcus Covington continues to develop this defense, how he gets his play calling, kind of how he develops his tendencies and his schemes with this defense, and really interested to kind of see how these players are kind of put in positions where they're able to succeed, or if players are able to step up and kind of take on a bigger plate here. So really excited to see what this Patriots defense can continue to do. I'm going to be watching heavily for this third preseason game. I don't see a lot of the starters playing, so there might be guys like Marcellus Dial and all three corners that I kind of mentioned with Marco Wilson, Alex Austin, as well as Isaiah Bolden. They might get increased playing time here to kind of really kind of duke out who might be able to get this final cornerback slot, or really just kind of solidify who might be a 53-man roster lock at this standpoint. So excited to see what happens, and we're going to see more coming up in the next preseason game coming up next week. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching this Patriots video here. Excited to kind of bring some more content and looking forward to the regular season starting up in a couple of weeks here. Thank you so much again for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And once again, it's much appreciated. I'll see you all in the next video.